So previously we have learned how to represent quantum states using direct notation or block spheres. And we've developed a lot of concept about what qubits are. So in this video, we will be implementing all those concepts by coding them out using Qiskit. So Qiskit is a library or a framework developed by IBM, which works in Python language. So if you want to work with it locally on your Jupyter notebook, then you can pip install Qiskit or use Anaconda to install it. Otherwise, if you do not want to install Qiskit and just want to see how it works, then you can use IBM Quantum Platform, wherein you can code using Qiskit in Jupyter notebooks online, or even drag and drop featuring on the IBM Quantum Platform, which allows you to make quantum circuits by just dragging and dropping. So let's see how to code in Qiskit. So basically, these are some screenshots from a Jupyter notebook, and code is available in the description. You can look at that link. So basically, Qiskit is a package that works in Python. So we can import it in our notebooks or other Python codes. So over here, we're just importing Qiskit and some of the functions it has. And I won't be telling you right now what they are. We will be understanding about them as we progress with the code. One thing over here, sim equal to air.get backend, where the backend is air simulator. So basically, we are specifying a backend that we want our models to run on. So basically, we know that there does exist quantum hardware on which we can run our codes. But if we just want to run our code on a simulator is something that will just simulate how the quantum hardware would work with the given circuits, but not really running our code on the quantum hardware, just running it on a simulation of something like the hardware. So there are a lot of simulators available in Qiskit, and Air Simulator is one of them, which we will be using right now. So over here, we have heard a lot about Ket0 till now, and we will be looking at how to represent it. So quantum register is a function that allows us to store a qubit or register its value. And over here, one means that we're talking about just one qubit, and we've assigned it to a variable. Then that variable has been assigned into quantum circuit, which allows us to make a circuit out of our qubits. If there would have been more than one qubit, like 2 or 3, then our quantum circuit would be considering them all together to form a circuit out of them. More about quantum circuits later if it's not clear right now. Then we use qc.draw to just draw our circuit. And because we have done nothing, we've just initiated a qubit. So we just get a simple line with q0 meaning qubit. Also, one thing to note is that by default, Qiskit initiates every qubit as Ket0. So if you're not applying anything on this line or this qubit, then it is in Ket0 state. So we can measure that as well. And that is what we'll see further. So qc.save state vector allows us to save the state that we already have, which is Ket0 till now. So it just saves the state, and result uses sim.run qc. So sim is the simulator that we initialized earlier, the air simulator, and we're asking the simulator to run this circuit on the simulator and let us know the result. And that result is stored in this variable. Now, if you want to know the output of our result, what state are we getting? So we can just take a variable and get the state vector of the result, and that will be the state of the result. So the state that we get is in a row matrix form, which is bra notation. And we see that it's 1, 0, which means that it is representing state 0, which we expected it to. So it's working fine. We can also measure all So QC.measureAll allows us to measure all the qubits in the circuit for their state, because we've not applied any gate or anything. So whenever we measure this qubit, we will get the state of 0. And QC.draw allows us to draw what I just explained. These lines over here are known as barriers. They do nothing on the circuit. They're just for dividing the circuit into parts for user experience, for just dividing it and letting the user look at the circuit in divided form. So it just doesn't do anything, it's just appealing. And everywhere where we're using draw, we have used output equal to MPL. That just makes this circuit look beautiful. Otherwise, it won't be this colorful if we do not use MPL. So that's how we measure the circuit. Now, the probability of the output. Basically, after we've got a result, we can count how many times we got the result. So basically, this experiment is not run just once, but many times behind on the simulator to see what is the output every time we measure. And because we're doing nothing, we expect all the measurements to give us the state of ket 0. So we take count in this variable and plot a histogram of it. Plot histogram and all these functions that we're using are the functions that we imported from Qiskit in the first slide. So you could look at them later on to understand what all we imported and where we are using them. And when we plot the histogram, we get a histogram with 100% probability of being in state of ket 0, which is what we expect, because we've just initialized the qubit. And when we initialize a qubit in Qiskit, it by default is in the state of ket 0. And we've not done any transformation on the qubit, like we've not applied any qubit gates on them. More on qubit gates will be covered later, but for now we've done nothing like that. So we expect to get ket 0 after every measurement, and that is what we're getting. So everything works fine like expected. And we can also plot the Bloch sphere of our state, and we get the state of ket 0 that we have seen for previously. Also, in a previous video, we established this equation of representing Bloch sphere, where theta is the angle with z-axis and phi is the angle with x-axis. And by changing these two angles, we can represent essentially any qubit on the Bloch sphere. So over here, we see that the angle with z-axis theta is 0. So when we put it 0, we get the state of ket 0, no matter whatever the angle phi is, because theta angle is 0. So our state will be coinciding with the z-axis. So it does not matter what the angle phi is. So as per calculation, we get the state of ket 0, and we plot our state. That also just confirms our result of the output being in state 0. So just like this, we can represent many other states following the same code. Let's look at one more example of representing ket 1. So again, we initialize a quantum circuit with one qubit. Previously, we used quantum register as well, but because we're making a circuit out of only one qubit, we can directly ask the quantum circuit to make a circuit with just one qubit. Initial state lets us change the state of the qubit, because we know that Qiskit by default initializes a qubit with ket 0 state. But if we want the qubit to be in some other state, then we initialize it by just providing the row matrix of what state we want. We want ket 1, so we just said 0, 1. And this is how we represent ket 1, which we have discussed previously. So then we use the initialize function, and we give the initial state that this is what we want the state of the qubit to be. And this 0 over here represents that we want this initial state to be applied on the 0th qubit of the quantum circuit. Because in the quantum circuit, there is only one qubit, so that qubit gets initialized as ket 1. Then we draw it, and this is what we get. Now you see there is a box over here, which wasn't there in the first case. This box is just initializing our qubit as get1. We save its state vector like before, we run it on the simulator, we get the result, we get the output state by using get state vector. And this time we get 0, 1, which is BRA1, which was what we were expecting, because we did not initialize that as the state of get 0, but in the state of get 1. So we apply measurements and draw the output and get something like before. And when we run this experiment multiple times and count what is the probability or what are the results that we're getting every time and plot a histogram of it, we get 100% probability of being in state 1. So similarly, we can represent any qubit state on the block sphere and as well as using a circuit, and understand it using the histograms and other things that we've used till now. So again, this was the general formula of the block sphere that we had determined earlier. And in this case, theta, the angle of this qubit with z axis is 180 degree or pi. So if we put theta as 180 degree in this equation, we get 1, which is what we were expecting. And again, in this situation also, no matter what the angle phi is, we will get 1. Previously, we've discussed other states as well, like get plus and get minus in the x-axis. X-axis is positive direction and negative direction. And we have also seen at states that represent y-axis. So using exactly the same code, we can represent these qubits as well. What will change is the initial state. Instead of putting the row matrix of 0, 1, which we used for get1, we just have to change that and we will be able to represent all of these basic qubits that we know about. So these are the calculations by putting the same theta and phi that we've discussed in the previous video in this general equation and getting this state. So over here, let's just discuss this one. Angle theta is pi by 2, and then angle phi, which is the angle with x-axis, is 0 because this qubit is lying on x-axis. So if we take theta as pi by 2 or 90 degree and phi as 0 degree and put it in the equation, this is what we get. Now to initialize the state, we just need to take get 0's coefficient and get 1's coefficient and put it in the initial state as a row matrix. So for getting get plus as the state vector, the row matrix will be 1 by under root 2, comma 1 by under root 2, because these are the coefficients. Similarly, we can use different values of theta and phi to get all of these states and put them in the general equation to get what they really are, and get the coefficients of get 0 and get 1 and use them to represent these qubits in the initial state row matrix, and just follow the same steps to get all of these diagrams. These block spheres can also be plotted in Qiskit using a plot block vector, and you can have a look at all of this in the code of the code that we've used in this video, and the links are in the description. So I hope you've understood what direct notations are, block spheres are, what a qubit is, and how we represent it using Qiskit. And I hope this video has been helpful. Thank you.